Slide 1. Rare earths are not rare. Control is rare. Rare earths are not actually rare. Elements like neodymium and cerium are as common as copper or lead in the Earth's crust. The real issue is not geology. It is control. For the past 2 decades, the global narrative has been misleading. People think the risk is resource scarcity. In reality, the risk is industrial concentration. China did not win because it has the most mines. It won because it controls the most difficult, most toxic, and most capital-intensive part of the value chain: processing and separation. This is the real choke point, and once you control that choke point, you control the entire global supply chain. That is why rare earths are not a mining story. They are a systems control story. Slide 2. Why rare earths matter. Rare earths sit at the core of modern industry. They are essential for electric vehicles, wind turbines, semiconductors, and advanced defense systems. But the most critical application is high-performance magnets, specifically neodymium iron boron magnets. These magnets are extremely strong relative to their size. That makes them irreplaceable in EV motors and offshore wind turbines, where efficiency and weight are critical. Without rare earths, the energy transition slows down. Without rare earths, advanced military systems lose performance reliability. This is why governments classify them as critical minerals. They are not optional inputs. They are strategic infrastructure. Slide 3. China's real monopoly. China's dominance is often misunderstood. It is not just about mining. It is about processing. Processing rare earths requires complex chemical separation, handling radioactive waste, and scaling industrial capacity over decades. This is where China made a deliberate strategic move. Today, China controls approximately 90% of global rare earth processing capacity. That means even if a country mines its own rare earths, it often still has to send the material to China for refinement. This creates a structural dependency, and dependency is leverage. That leverage can be used economically, politically, and strategically. Slide 4. Brazil enters the game. Now we introduce Brazil. Brazil is not just another resource country. It is emerging as a strategic disruptor. It has one of the largest rare earth reserve bases in the world. More importantly, it has a specific type of deposit: ionic clay. These deposits are easier to extract, lower cost, and often contain higher concentrations of valuable heavy rare earths. The key project here is Serra Verde. This project entered commercial production in 2024 and is targeting 6,500 tons of rare earth oxides annually by 2027. This is not theory. This is already operational. Brazil is no longer a potential player. It is an active one. Slide 5. Why Serra Verde matters. Serra Verde is strategically important for one reason: heavy rare earths. Not all rare earths are equal. Light rare earths are relatively abundant. Heavy rare earths, such as dysprosium and terbium, are much scarcer and far more valuable. These elements are critical for high-temperature applications. For example, EV motors operate under extreme heat. Without dysprosium, magnets would lose their magnetic strength. That makes heavy rare earths essential for performance stability. And here is the key point. Most heavy rare earth supply is concentrated in China and Myanmar. Serra Verde introduces a non-China supply source. That changes the entire geopolitical equation. Slide 6. The US and Brazil alignment. Now we move to capital flows. The United States and Western investors are actively seeking alternatives to China. This is not ideological. It is strategic. Supply chain resilience has become a national priority. Serra Verde has already responded to this shift. It has shortened long-term supply contracts with Chinese buyers. Why? To maintain flexibility. Flexibility allows them to redirect supply to Western markets. This is not just a business decision. It is a geopolitical alignment. Capital, policy, and resources are starting to move in the same direction. Slide 7. Brazil's strategy beyond mining. Brazil does not want to repeat a historical mistake. Many developing countries export raw materials and import finished goods. That model captures minimal value. Brazil is pushing for a different strategy: domestic value capture. This means building processing facilities, separation plants, and eventually magnet manufacturing. In other words, moving from upstream to midstream and downstream. This is industrial policy. Brazil is using its resources as leverage. Foreign companies that want access may be required to invest locally, transfer technology, and create jobs. This is how a resource country becomes an industrial player. Slide 8. The strategic lesson. Brazil will not replace China overnight. That is unrealistic. But replacement is not the goal. The real objective is redundancy. Even a 15% to 20% alternative supply base can significantly weaken a monopoly. Why? Because it introduces optionality. Optionality reduces pricing power. Optionality reduces political leverage. Optionality increases resilience. This is how monopolies erode, not through sudden collapse, but through gradual fragmentation. Slide 9. What this means for the future. We are entering a new phase of global supply chains. The system is moving from efficiency to resilience, from concentration to diversification. Brazil is one of the first major signals of this shift. If Serra Verde succeeds, it will trigger a domino effect. More investment will flow into South America and Africa. New supply nodes will emerge. China will remain dominant, but no longer absolute. And that is the key transformation. The future of rare earths is not a single center of power. It is a network. Closing statement. The next industrial revolution will be powered by rare earths. But more importantly, it will be defined by who controls the system that delivers them. And right now, that map is being redrawn. Not in Beijing, but in Brazil.